Live with studios in Midland and Odessa, you're watching CBS7 First Alert News at 9 on the CW West Texas.
They came today to be a part of this this governmental process, if you will, and they'll be personally affected by this. Again, that center will be built for those students, and so they wanted to be a part of history as they watch the board approve the bond, and then they'll be the recipients of one of the facilities.
ECISD celebrating after part of their bond passed. Coming up in just a few minutes, we've got more on how the district is moving forward now that they have $424 million to spend. Good evening and thanks for joining us here for CBS 7 News at 9 on the CW, and thanks for joining us live on the CBS 7 YouTube page. I'm Jay Hendricks. We start tonight with continuing coverage on the long feud between the Ector County Utility District, or ECUD, and members of the public. The Ector County Commissioners Court has a choice to make now. At the Commissioners Court meeting this morning, West Odessa residents took to the public comment period to ask for help and oversight over the Ector County Utility District. West Odessans' comments spanned from a lack of diversity on the board to allegations of irresponsible spending and improper elections. They want the Commissioners Court to reappoint the entire board. Earlier this week, a new board member was appointed just days after the board voted to table that selection. That happened after a previous meeting barred some locals from entering. Those actions prompted a petition signed by 403 residents stating they're unhappy with ECUD. That's why they're calling for help.
Issue after issue arise where the ECUD board is not operating lawfully. And so it's time for this to change. They've got to step in. Somebody has got to help us because we need the water district and we want them to operate lawfully, and we want them to be successful so that West Odessans can get the water that they need.
And they say it's more than just politics and passion. Thousands of West Odessans without water are at the mercy of the feud. Last week, Judge Dustin Fawcett announced that he would partner with the county attorney to ask for an attorney general opinion to sort out proper oversight. Now to an update on a story we first brought you back in June. The Ector County Commissioners Court unanimously approved today the budget change for the project to expand 42nd Street in West Odessa. In fact, an additional $345,000 will be used for adjustments in labor, equipment costs, and more. This project is already supposed to cost over $23 million. By the end of the project, 4 miles of 42nd Street from FM 1936 to Knox Avenue in West Odessa will be reconstructed. Now to a developing story from this morning. Big Bend National Park reporting the search continues for a missing hiker. 25-year-old Christy Perry reportedly rented a car from Midland on November 9th and arrived at Big Bend National Park that same day. According to park officials, she did not show up for her camping reservation that evening at the Chisos Basin campground. Her vehicle was located at the trailhead for the Lost Mine Trail. Now, officials say that a team of park rangers and Border Patrol agents searched the trail yesterday while the park pilots surveyed from above. Today, search teams continued their search from above. Park officials say that the Lost Mine Trail is currently closed. Perry is described as 5 feet 2 inches tall, weighing about 100 pounds. If you have any information on her whereabouts, you're urged to contact the number you see there on your screen, 888-653-0009. Heavy selling drove oil prices sharply lower today, marking another positive inflation development for consumers just ahead of that Thanksgiving travel rush. U.S. oil prices fell almost 6% to a low of almost 6% to $72.16 a barrel. That is the lowest level since July 7th. Now that sell-off continues, a sharp reversal from earlier this fall when oil prices threatened to hit $100 per barrel. Crude is now down 23% from late September. Even before Thursday's oil sell-off, average U.S. gas prices had fallen to a 10-month low of $3.34 a gallon. That's according to AAA. Deep in the oil fields of South Midland County is a facility that is designed to make reusable water in just 1 month. The Texas Pacific Water Resources receives around 10,000 gallons of water. Then that facility reuses about 70% of that same water. But in order for there to be reusable water, they have to lower the number of total dissolved solids, or TDS, in order for the water to get to safe levels of TDS. It has to go through several stages, though, before it can be used.
So when we process that water twice, then that water is now decreased from 100,000 to 25,000. And then from there we can go to RO, which is reverse osmosis. And from reverse osmosis, we can get down to anywhere from 1,500 to, I think the lowest we've got is about 250.
Ultimately, the facility wants to be able to treat and discharge up to 20,000 barrels of water per day.
Currently, we are doing the 500, the 1,000, and the 1,500 for the irrigation study, and that is with the ultimate goal of doing land application. But we are also treating to TDSs lower than that and also analyzing those for potential for aquifer recharge or surface water discharge.
Now to election news. Ector County Sheriff Mike Griffiths announcing today he will seek re-election. It would be Griffiths' third term as Ector County Sheriff. The sheriff said in a statement today he wants another term to continue with making improvements and eventually leave the sheriff's office, he says, in better shape than he found it. No one else has filed for the office so far. Across the state, Railroad Commission Chair Christy Craddock also filed today for re-election. Craddock has been a member of the Railroad Commission for nearly 12 years. She said in a statement, quote, "I am and always will be committed to keeping our state a beacon of energy independence and economic success while preserving the freedoms of Texans," end quote. Time now to talk your weather forecast. We're moving closer to our Friday and into the weekend. Chief Meteorologist Tom Teever-Teller joining us now. Tom, we finally saw some sunshine to end this week. Will that continue through the weekend?
Well, the sunshine didn't last all that long today as we've got a canopy of clouds right over the area. Tomorrow, though, I think we'll see a mix of clouds and sun by the afternoon. Right now, we are looking at plenty of clouds out there. They're up above 12,000 feet, so unless you're looking, you're really not seeing them too much. High temperatures today weren't really affected by the cloud cover. We got into the upper 60s to low 70s at a few spots, like Wink at 70, 76 down towards Fort Stockton, and 70 in the Presidio Valley. So take a look outside right now, live iCam in Odessa, where we are seeing pretty quiet conditions, lower 60s right now across the Permian Basin, but already cooling off to 58 there in the mountain areas in the Marfa Plateau. Now, if you're making those Thanksgiving plans, well, this weekend, I think we're going to be okay. We're going to see a cold front roll into the area. Drop temperatures a little bit. A stronger one next week is going to make for a very fallish Thanksgiving week.
Tom, thanks. We have an update now after a threat was made against Midland High School. We told you about this last night. According to Midland ISD, the teen seen in this photo has been identified and located. Last night, you may remember, they were looking for this person, wanted to know if anyone knew about that bedspread as well, thanks to a tip that was sent to Midland Crime Stoppers. Now, the district did not say whether or not the teen was arrested, but the investigation continues, and they say that MISD police does not believe that there was a threat to the Midland High School campus. ECISD's bond Proposition A has passed officially, and now that money is available to the school district, and they're preparing to see what the next steps are. In fact, ECISD has been given $424 million to spend on new infrastructure improvements to current facilities, new equipment for certain departments, and more. Come January, the school district will present a timeline of a 5-year plan to complete everything that's been proposed.
Our board will be appointing in the month of December a bond oversight committee. So a group of 10 individuals that will represent our community, and they will, over the next 5 years, kind of oversee, if you will, the progress that we make in the bond referendum.
ECISD says that if you're interested in joining this committee, contact the board member who represents your district. Dr. Murray also says he wants to thank all citizens who voted yes for Prop A for helping the future students of ECISD.
Really on behalf of not only the kids that were here today, but the 33,500 that we serve, the kids that we will serve for generations to come, and then our 4,200 employees and the 7 members of our Board of Trustees. Thank you to our community for saying yes to the children that we serve each and every day.
If you want a full list of the items that were passed on Prop A, you can visit our website at CBS7.com. 5 UTPB STEM Academy students saw their year-long science experiment launch into space in a SpaceX rocket launch. In fact, the experiment is to determine if a fungus or microspora can survive and reproduce in microgravity experiment. If it is a success, then fungus could be used to decompose plastic waste. It then becomes an organic material that astronauts could use to grow plants for food.
It didn't feel real at first because they kept postponing it almost a full year after we did it or completed it. But recently, after it launched, there was a lot of satisfaction seeing the rocket go up.
Their experiment was selected from multiple projects within ECISD. Students from around the U.S., Canada, and Ukraine also participated in this same mission. The Life Center is a nonprofit, faith-based organization that educates and supports people through pregnancy and the first 3 years with their child. The center is now expanding and taking over what was the Ellis Funeral Home, giving them more than double the amount of space they currently have for their services. The Life Center runs out of a 9,000 square foot building where some offices hold 3 employees and there's not enough room in each consultation and testing room. They also visit schools to promote positive relationships from an early age and improve sexual wellness later in life. They also do STD testing, consultations, and more. Taking over the land where the Ellis Funeral Home was, they say, is a full circle moment.
Everybody's picking up on that, from death to life, and that's called resurrection. And we're a faith-based organization. It's very important for us to be able to guide people in a loving way towards making healthy decisions.
The Life Center recently expanded in Odessa as well, and the amount of people they could provide services for doubled. They are hoping that the expansion in Midland could also provide services for at least 400 more people every year. It will also give more space for the employees, some of which, as we said, had to share small office spaces. Now for a look at today's top headlines shown here in real time with real viewers at CBS7.com. See all of these stories and more by downloading our app or visiting our website at CBS7.com. Still ahead, get ready to mark your calendars for the Sand Hills Stock Show and Rodeo. We'll give you the details when we come back. All right, mark your calendar. The 2024 Sand Hills Stock Show and Rodeo is happening from July 4th through the 13th. It is the 91st year for the rodeo. The rodeo crew hosted a luncheon to get West Texas officials ready for the big event. Aspen Wash from Alpine, a Sul Ross State University graduate, was crowned the 2024 Miss Rodeo Sand Hills. If you've never been, it's a great time. There are exhibitors, cowboys and cowgirls, animals, and of course lots of competition.
We'll be the first rodeo in the year, and all the contestants, they really want to get a jump on their season. So we have a lot of entries here. A lot of people that will be coming right from the National Finals Rodeo to here, but it's such a great rodeo.
The stock show and rodeo isn't just that. Stock show winners get bragging rights and scholarship money. There will also be a drawing for $1,000 each rodeo night. A seat number will be drawn, and the person sitting in that seat will win the grand prize.
Well, we are going to be looking at a little bit less in the way of cloud cover as we move in towards the weekend. We're going to take a look at all that. Thanksgiving forecast, too, is up next.
Now, from the CBS7 First Alert Weather Center, here's Chief Meteorologist Tom Tiefertiller.
Well, looking at outside, let me start that again. Looking outside at a quiet evening out there, a lot of cloud cover still intact, but it's mid to high level clouds. We're not dealing with the low clouds. We're not going to deal with the fog in the morning hours because we have this higher cloud cover moving through the area, but it's covered up all of West Texas and southeast of Mexico. This is the satellite view, West Texas SatRad. Occasionally the radar is picking up some of that mid-level moisture out there, trying to show some green, but nothing's falling out of the sky. No reports of any sprinkles or anything like that. As temperatures, again, rather pleasant out there. I think it's very comfortable with temperatures in the lower 60s to the upper 50s here into the mountain areas and parts of southeast of Mexico already. Now let's take a look at what's going on with the weather makers. We have a big disturbance, a lot of mid to high level Pacific moisture being pushed across by these southwesterly winds in the upper levels, this overall flow. And it doesn't look like it's going to let up. Till maybe tomorrow afternoon, I think we're going to see some breaks in the clouds to allow a little bit of sun. A weak front is also going to roll through later on in the day, and that'll cool things off just a touch as we move in towards Saturday. Then we'll be watching this next cutoff low here and another Pacific storm system that's going to bring a stronger cold front in for it looks like the start of Thanksgiving week. And the only fly in the ointment travel-wise is going to be thunderstorm possibilities across portions of northeast, east Texas. But for the most part, West Texas remaining quiet and clear for Thanksgiving week. Just dealing with some occasional clouds out there and some cooler temperatures. States covered up right now as temperatures again cooling off a little bit into the upper 50s across the I-35 corridor. Now, West Texas Futurecast, we'll go back one and take a look at that and show you that we are going to see those mid to high level clouds continue to stream across the area all the way through tomorrow afternoon, but I think there'll be pockets of sunshine out there too. And this will be the case into Saturday, but really just cloud cover. that's about it. As temperatures tonight, not as cool. Still mid-50s on the way to wake up to. About 70 tomorrow. Pretty good weather, really, as we'll have more of a north wind late in the day. That's that front that's rolling through. That'll drop temperatures a little bit for Santa Claus arriving, coming to town here on Saturday at the Music City Mall and Midland Park Mall. And we'll see nice conditions the rest of the weekend before Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving week, a little cooler, but looking pretty good back home here in West Texas.
Coming up next, we've got lots of playoff football to discuss. Stick around for sports here at 9 on the CW.
Time now for CBS7 First Alert Sports.
We are a day away from the area round of playoffs for some of our local 6A high school football teams. The Midland High Bulldogs, one of those teams, they'll take on the Byron Nelson Bobcats. The Bobcats come into tomorrow's game off of a 10-point win against El Paso Americas last Friday. They face a new challenge tomorrow as they welcome in the undefeated Byron Nelson Bobcats. Byron Nelson enters the game ranked number 7 in the state, according to Dave Campbell's. Bulldog head coach Thad Fortune has the idea that the challenge that the Bobcats bring on the field, and he wants his team to show out tomorrow in front of the Midland High faithful.
Well, it is all over the field. Great football players, great athletes all over the field. I think they lost in the third round last year, so they've got a lot of experience in these type situations. A lot of guys coming back, and they're talented. They run their schemes well. They play really hard. They're a very impressive team to watch. Just because we got a home game, by no means do we think we can not show up and ready to play our best, because it'll take our best.
Kickoff between Midland High and Byron Nelson will be tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Another team that has reached the area round is the Permian Panthers. Mojo defeated El Paso Pebble Hill Spartans last week at Ratliff Stadium, and they will be playing in Abilene tomorrow at Shotwell Stadium. Now, they will be taking on the undefeated North Crowley Panthers. North Crowley is ranked number 6 in the state. Permian head coach Jeff Ellison is prepared for North Crowley's personnel.
Coach Case does a great job. This is his second year there, and I think they've only lost one game, or maybe two. No, they do a great job. Very, very talented on both sides of the ball. Very explosive on offense, and they've got some very talented players defensively on the defensive line and really all over the field.
CBS 7's Jair Brooks Davis will make the trip to Abilene tomorrow. Then he will make Legacy's game in Fort Worth on Saturday. Follow along here on CBS 7 as well as our social media pages for coverage. Playoffs continue for our local college teams. The number 16 UTPB Falcons will host Bemidji State this Saturday in the Region 4 opening round. First-year head coach Chris McCullough is excited for the matchup and expects a shootout at Broadband Stadium.
This is a great matchup of two high-powered offenses. I think both defenses are really, really good, but I think two of the best quarterbacks in our region battle it out. So it's going to be fun and probably a lot of points scored.
UTPB and Bemidji will be kicking off on Saturday at 1 o'clock. Be sure to tune in to CBS 7 News at 10 for more local sports coverage. Still ahead, the Grillin' Rebs are headed to state. We'll tell you about how they're preparing for the contest when we come back. All right, before we go, Tom, have you ever used the excuse that your dog ate your homework?
No.
You never have used
No.
that. Okay, well, I want you to see why. You're going to meet some students that actually can say that literally and figuratively. Check out the Legacy High School barbecue team. That's how they get their homework. You get it? Grilling Rebs are headed to state, and these Rebs competed in lots of competitions. There were multiple top 5 finishes, including first in chicken and first in tacos, third in ribs and tacos, fourth in pork chops and chili. Now, the state competition is in May, and these students will have to continue practice grilling as part of their homework in preparation for the big competition. So maybe some scraps for the pets as well while they're practicing?
Bet they cook up some great stuff.
So their pets could eat their homework.
Yeah, they
I guess,
could.
if they're
I guess so.
practicing just right. Yeah.
They could help out, okay?
Congratulations, by the way, because this isn't easy. You're going against a lot of teams from around the state.
Oh, yeah. It looks like some good stuff that they're preparing.
I'm hungry now. How about you?
Yeah,
That looks
tell you
good.
what,
That looks good.
Always ready for some grilled meats.
Yeah.
Anyway, as we take a look at the weather, it's going to be a decent weekend to do that, actually. A little cooler, but overall pretty quiet weather all the way into Thanksgiving week.
All right, Tom, thanks. Thanks for watching CBS 7 First Alert News at 9 on the CW. We have more news coming up tonight at 10.